You can stay over there and watch this wall.
Yeah.
Very welcome to Couchsurfers and the art collective. We have an unknown member. I don't know if you see it, but here is a mural on this wall. There is almost only some traces of it now. In the winter of 2014, I came here with a friend and I suddenly found this memorial mural in coal. It was very stunning to be here in the winter and in the snow and see a fantastic painting that I couldn't really understand though. In the middle here, there was a portrait of a man in well-trimmed beard. And under here, you could see, in Swedish, in the memory of the dreams. In this corner, there was a ship. And it said on a banner, Stella Polaris. And down here, there was just a big building. And it said Säter on the banner. Here, there was this big tower, and it said Borgen. And here, you can almost not see it anymore, was a very beautiful painting of the alley that you just went through when you came here on Kungshamn. The banner said Kungshamn. Such a mystery. I was really stunned and interested. So I asked around. And just behind our house there is a journalist living. And she had also seen it, but in August already, same year, 2014. She showed me pictures and they were even clearer than when I saw them first time. And she had done some research, so she knew who the man was. And the man's name is Björn Söderblom. Björn Söderblom was one of the worst landlords in Sweden, listed by Vår Bostad 2006. He's a venture capitalist and a real estate owner. Actually, this is the man who bought this island in 2002. He bought 80% of the island. He doesn't own our land where our house is on and where like all the other houses are on, but everything in between he bought for 10.5 million kronor, 2002. At that time there was this big plan of having a big road going on a bridge over Kungshamn. So all the cars that needed to pass Stockholm didn't need to go through Stockholm, but pass by it. So it would be very easy if you had 10.5 million kronor to buy this island and then argue that this bridge would have a path, a slip down here. So the plan was to build this island with a lot of houses. 20,000 houses on this island was the plan. Our landlord Svante, who owns the house that we live in, he has a daughter, Emma. Emma has a friend, a biologist, and a frog knower. And when he came here, he found a frog, an edible frog, which is quite rare. So those frogs, you really need to take caution when you find them. You can't just build anything, destroying their habitat. But of course, this is of the country's interest to build this road. But then we have the king. The king lives just by this island on the other side, and if this road would pass over this island on this bridge, he would have the bridge piling like very near the castle. He didn't like that. He protested. Also, every environmental organization protested. So now they're building the Förbifart Stockholm under this island. When you came here, you passed their working spot. So Björn Söderblom, he didn't really got his plan through. I guess this was one of his dreams. He was the worst landlord in Sweden. Everywhere where you would Google him, you would find traces of empty houses, big houses of cultural, historical value, all around in Sweden, all in decay. When he didn't manage to build all those 20,000 houses on the island, he applied to, says the rumor at least, to cut down all the trees on the island, to make a clear cut, to sell the wood, get some money back. Of course he didn't. The state said no. He was a man in debt. Kronofogden, that is the collector of his values, since he was in debt. So in 2013, 3 years ago, he sold the island. Maybe to get away from the collectors. He sold it to his daughter, Isabella. She has a flower shop on Lovön. She's now the owner of the ground that you stand on. 2014, February, they together apply on building 7,000 houses on this island with a bridge that you could either bicycle on or, the better, have a subway train on. Not cars though. It would be an environmental village. The whole island would be a green Manhattan. So they said. But then happened something. 2014, May. Björn Söderblom suddenly dies. Remember that my friend on the island, the journalist, she found this mural in August. It appears to me to be a true memorial mural to the memory of Björn Söderblom and his dreams. Stella Polaris, the boat, was a big luxurious ship built in 1927 in Gothenburg by a Norwegian company. And the aim was to make cruising trips, in the North Cape, you say? North Cape, like in the north, up in Norway. But then the war came, and Norway was occupied. Hitler came, and he took this ship and let officers, submarine officers, have their recreation tours on this ship. And after the war, it traveled between Norway and England with war prisoners from Norway. That is, Nazists from Norway going to prison in England. After this dramatic life, Stella Polaris went to Japan to be a hotel and restaurant. And there she was. And when she was renamed, she was called then Hotel of Scandinavia. But then, I think it was 2008, A Swedish company buys Stella Polaris with the aim to take her back to Sweden and make a restaurant of her here. That company was run by Björn Söderblom. Just before he's going to take her back to Sweden, he has to renovate it. And on the way to the renovation workshop, she sinks. Just after he bought a very big insurance. The article says that he was devastated, and that the insurance wasn't that big after all. Säter is a place for mental ill people in Sweden. This was built in the beginning of the century, of last century, 19th century, and was run until 1989. And this big house is a permanent pavilion of Säters mentalsjukhus. And in the 80s, 90s somewhere, the ideology of taking care of mental ill people changed. They would no longer be locked up, even though if this actually was almost a prison. So here they locked in mental ill people that had made sexual or violent crimes. At that time they had 1,700 prisoners in those kinds of houses around in Säter. There were several houses. And this was the big one. He bought it, and it decayed. God knows what dreams he had for it. Borgen, I don't know anything about. I have Googled it for years. Not true, hours. And here, as I said, is Kungsat, this alley, with the dreams of thousands of houses that the daughter now is actually doing. Half a year ago, I was talking with the ones that are now constructing this tunnel under the island, and they had to redo some work. They had been putting down tubes, pipes in the ground, but they were too small for 7,000 houses. So they had to put down even thicker ones. No decision taken. Everyone on this island hates this man. Everyone. There is no one that agrees with his plans. When I moved in here 5 years ago, my landlord said, "Take the motor saw, cut down every tree, don't buy wood, you can take it from him. Don't care about what he owns." But someone do miss him and his dreams. I don't. Thank you.